All right, we are now recording. I want to make sure you can see what I see. Do you see chapter 2 ebook anatomy and physiology?
Yes.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. All right, so with anatomy and physiology, anything that we're dealing with, the public, especially with touching them, we are literally one of the one profession that we are have a close relationship and allow really to touch all parts of our client's body. So this is a very intimate space, should be trusted, and we need to understand what we're touching, what effect it does. Every time you touch something, it's a cause and effect. So even though we see how something looks on the outside, but when you touch it, it then produces another effect on the inside. And people are like, "Are you serious?" I'm like, "Yes." Every form of touch is a form of massage. So right there, you have a cause and effect. Okay, but there's different types of touch. We have motor points in the facial that we have to get familiar with. Because when you're doing the massage on the facial, on the face, as you go around in those movements, you may apply pressure in different areas. Well, intentionally applying pressure in those areas is going to cause release tension in other areas to happen. And we want that because we want to reduce fluid buildup in the facial or contour area. We also want to exercise muscles in the facial area, in the scalp. We want to also relax nerves. And so we have a lot to do, and I'm mentioning face because we are primarily, that is the thing that we deal with. But we're going to talk about systems, and then we're going to talk about also just some of the cause effects of what we have going on. We gotta know. My biggest thing is if you're gonna touch something or if you're going to do a service, this is for anybody. You need to know just a general background of what you're doing the service on. What are you touching? Um, I, as a client, I would enjoy or appreciate my stylist, my esthetician, my massage therapist, knowing a little bit about the muscles, knowing a little bit about my nerves and what's going on. It just helps for a better consultation. Learning about the bones of the face, all of that just helps for a better understanding. And so we want to build rapport with our clients. And this is a chapter that we build rapport, AKA the T word, trust. You may say, this is not learning how to do this. It is learning how to build conversation, build a relationship, and build the T word, trust with your clients, okay? Because clients would trust you based on your knowledge. And everything that you do, how you service the client, you must have some education included with it, okay? Which means after you perform this service, after you give them what's trending, how do you tell them to take care of it? That's the education component. How do you tell them? You may don't underestimate them and think that everybody knows. Everybody doesn't know. I um I went to a boutique ladies event, and it was for plus size. And you would think everybody would know about brasiers and undergarments and things of that nature. You had individuals 50, 55 years old just learning how to shop for a brassiere, how to shop for different things that you would think we learned, preteen, and it's not taught to everybody. So it's good for you to have a great understanding of what you do, an in-depth understanding of what you do, so you can channel that and build a relationship, a rapport with your client. Now, once that rapport and relationship is built, you don't have to really do a whole lot after that, because that initial first impression, that initial impression of they know what they're talking about, has already set in. Now you're going to start turning that person from a customer over to clientele. Okay. And we want to continue to build, continue to grow. I found that myself, there's a show this weekend in Orlando called Premier Orlando. I found that the more I would travel and go to shows and gain information, the more my clients cheered me on. They would even give me tips because they knew I was going out of town, and they would invest. I took it as an investment into me learning something. And what I always did, whatever issues we were dealing with in the salon with somebody's hair, somebody's skin, or whatever, I would take it to the show, and that would be my main focus to get answers from my clients when I came back. And also, my clients knew that when I came back, I was going to come back with something new, something fresh. And so I would always find out what their issues is and what they needed and go and bring back. And so we built an amazing rapport just on the knowledge and the desire I had to just do better, want to see their hair, skin, and nails do amazing. So it was not effortless. It was not a breeze, but it built trust with my clients, and I absolutely love it. And to this day, there's still trust built for the clients. I may not even service them anymore, but anything that goes on with hair, skin, and nails, they're gonna every now and then call and say, "Are you back in the salon?" Or "What do you think about such and such? I got this going on," and I just, it's that knowledge. But having information here, having information about consultation and analysis, which we're going to move into in a couple of chapters. It just helps build your expertise. Okay. It helps build your expertise. And that's ultimately our goal. We want clients to see you as the public, also to see you as the expert, the guru, the expert in this particular field. So they won't go outside. They will come to any questions related to skin, or relatively anything in the beauty. They will come to the expert. They will come to the professional instead of them just picking up products out of TJ Maxx or Walmart. They will come to the expert. Okay, that's the ultimate goal, is to build your bank so you have information to cater to the public. Okay. Looking at some of our objectives, which I'm just going to choose a couple of them because we're not going to go over all of them, but it is available. Why does estheticians need to know about A&P? Also, describing the basic structure and function of the cell. Okay, everything comes from the cell. The types of tissues, the 4 types of tissues in the body, of course, defining the functions of major organs and systems. And then also you have your accessory organs to the skin, the functions of course, the major organs, skeletal things of that nature. When we look at as far as massage, what muscles are involved, and then also the nerve branches of the head, neck, face, that are essential for performing facial treatments, outlining how the circulatory system influences the health of the skin. We're talking about lymphatic, circulatory, immune system, and we're going to look at some glands and look at some hormonal changes. Inhaling, exhaling, looking at the respiratory system, and explaining 5 steps of the digestive system. All of these systems come into play when we begin to talk about the client's skin. When we begin to do consultations about the client, most of the time, I'm not asking them what service they want. I'm trying to figure out what's going on with their skin from the inside out. I'm asking them, what do they eat? That's digestive system. Okay. I'm asking them just different things related to their skin. I'm asking them about medications. I'm asking them about any diseases, any infections, any disorders that they may have going on. Anything related to major organs. Are you taking medications or have a diagnosis for a heart issue, a lung issue, a digestive issue? Okay. I'm asking about those things as well because it's going to help me make a pivot to what's really going on with their inside their body for what's happening on the outside. The endocrine system is the biggest thing that I'm going to say we should check out outside of your typical work, I do want you to learn more about the skin as a major organ. I want you to learn more about the endocrine system and the reproductive system. Reason being, the endocrine system, hashtag hormonal system, okay, your hormones mixed with the reproductive system causes a lot of changes in the body. And a lot of times you have the effects of those changes, medications, disorders that appear on the face. Whether it's skin texture that's a change, whether it's pimples, breakouts, whether there's a discoloration somewhere, whether there is a different skin disorder, such as something's drying to the skin. All of those are possible components. Okay, all of those are possible components. So we need to really learn about, and of course, the major news about PCOS, PMOS. That has been a major factor for estheticians to learn about. So I definitely want you to learn about PCOS, PMOS. And actually, I think there's an assignment that goes right along with that. That alone explains a lot of things that goes on with people's skin. Okay, that alone, especially with women. All right, I start to ask questions about cycles. That is related to questions about snacks. That is also related to questions about weight loss and weight gain. That is also related to questions about medications and sleep deprivation. So, learning about PCOS, PMOS, learn about the hormones of the body for men and women, especially in the areas of perimenopause and menopause. And I also want you to just have reference that men go through those changes as well. So if you're going to deal with or you want to specialize in male grooming, okay, you need to learn about those menopausal components as well in men. All right. Also, when you talk about different nutrients or vitamins or deficiencies that's going on with the skin, I would learn more about vitamins. I'll also learn more about key magnesium, especially if you're going to be dealing with men and women. Once we come into that perimenopause, menopausal stage, there are certain things that we can do as beauty professionals that'll just help ease. And sometimes we are the first ones and only ones that they talk to concerning any issues in particular areas. So we have to be informed and we have to be extended. Okay. Also, just having questions about the excretory system. Everything that comes in the body has to come out of the body. The excretory system is going to be very important because it's going to deal with liver, kidneys, and those are two major organs. We have major diseases and disorders that come along with that. And we need to discuss characteristics that when you see certain things in skin, it will point towards this. We remember we are not doctors, okay? And so we cannot diagnose, but we can know enough to say, hey, I think you need to go see a physician. I'm seeing something, I'm not really keen to discuss it further with you because I'm not a physician, but I think you need to go see a physician. And you can stop it right there. Okay, you can tell them, well, this don't look too good for me. I would like to have somebody else check it out. And you would need to have somebody else check it out as well. If your clientele was predominantly less pigmented, European, I would have a big focus on the sun, how much time they spend in the sun. Major focus. Okay. I would have a major focus because those individuals are more keen to skin cancer. Okay. And just issues related to skin burning. So that's a major issue I would focus if my clientele was mostly in that area. If your clientele is not mostly in that area, still learning. I won't spend a whole lot of time on it, but still learning, because somewhere down the line, you're going to need that information to come back up. Okay, highlighting in, let's see what we highlighting in. Let's do some different colors today. Just continue reasons why estheticians should want to learn about anatomy and physiology. And if you like information, this is like the chapter for you too. I absolutely love the information. But let's look at estheticians need to understand how the human body functions. Yes, because one thing affects the other. All right. As a service provider, you must be able to recognize how the skin changes. Okay. So there's a couple of different scales that you're going to learn about. And those scales, from the first day I teach them to you to the day you say I retire, you're going to use those as measuring points along with your expertise that you pick up along the way. Okay. So you'll have some things to reference. And then when you can't, when it goes outside of your scope of practice, you're going to refer them to a physician, which is a dermatologist in our case that deals with skin. Okay. Estheticians must understand the effect that services will have on tissues, organs, and body systems. Okay. Based on the services that you want to do, it can cause an effect on something else. That's why we are not physicians. So here's the thing: when I sometimes go on Facebook, I see people marketing and putting up videos of like vajacials and waxing, and they are using every advanced topic and machine possible. And I want to tell people they're using that to draw you in to like, what is that? What is that? And but they sometimes do not show you a couple of weeks later what's going on. Um, Here's when you learn and get more in depth with aesthetics and learn about machines and what they do. Also learn about advanced topics and how they work. And advanced topics are enzymes, chemical peels, things of that nature. When you learn how they work and where they should be placed, it should be a little better understanding of what's going on with the skin. Okay. Um, for example, a steamer. If someone is doing a vajacial, which is they are doing a mini facial on the vagina area, that's a vajacial. If someone is doing a vajacial, of course there's cleaning, but what you really have to think about as far as cosmetics, products, and things like that, am I going to use an exfoliator? Okay. If I have granules, it's hard to clean up. I don't want to be down there wiping all that time. Um, what am I going to use? There are other forms of exfoliators that you don't have to use granules. And sometimes people use an enzyme mask, they just paint it on and then take a towel to remove it. That's what I would suggest. Then you have individuals who also use a steamer. Okay. Also use a steamer. Using the steamer in the pelvic area should have a reduced time, because the steamer itself can cause irritation. So it'll have a benefit of bringing whatever's in the pores, dirt, oil, sweat to the surface. But then when it has an extended time on, it causes sweating and continual sweating and irritation. So I don't want my client walking around itching. Okay. You literally would have that. And then many individuals use a high frequency one, or LED light. Anytime we're using electrotherapy, anytime we're using electrotherapy, and electrotherapy with like laser sensors, I'm talking about the item has to be plugged up. It's using a form of light or radio technology. You may have seen them. Those sensors go past the skin barriers and start pulling and mushing and pulling stuff up underneath the skin that you cannot see. Here's what I tell estheticians again: you are not a gynecologist. All right. So estheticians should have not be spending a whole lot of time down in that area. If you're dealing with women, women have sometimes a lot of things going on in intimate areas. Sometimes they have that PCOS issue, which involves sometimes the cyst on the ovaries. You may have individuals that may have fibroids. You may have individuals that may have a number of things going on in those areas. I am not going to place for a long period of time, or I may opt out of it, electrical currents, okay, or radio frequency technology in those areas to irritate them, okay, irritate them or give heat or attention to an area that starts one of the tumors to start growing. Guess what? We're now the cause of a major life issue with them. And as you know, many individuals can talk about hysterectomies. They can be harmful. They can be, that's what's hard. They can be painful. But we have to have the knowledge of, look, I'm going to do a mini facial there. I'm going to do a wax. We are not doing a whole lot with high frequency ones and LEDs because they could stimulate some things. And if you don't have common knowledge of what's down there, the systems, the nerves, and if the client has not discussed what she's personally been through, you should not be using any radio frequency, or you should not be using any high frequency. Okay. All of these are like laser rays that start to stimulate and move stuff underneath the skin. We are already trusted with the face. That's our scope of practice. Okay. We have started to move into vajacials. If the vajacials does not fall into Tennessee scope of practice, I'm gonna just tell you, and it doesn't fall into a lot of states scope of practice where people do it. Okay, and scope of practice is what you're allowed to do with your license per the state board. And so I have not seen any state board that says you're allowed to give um, intimate facials, areas, things of that nature, with other than waxing. So we have to have clients who understand and truthful with us, and then we have to have estheticians who also are not eager to build content, because building content on social media platforms would say, "Oh, I just want to do this. I want to show this. I want to do that," and you start to do too much, and you irritate areas and cause problems down the line. So those are major factors. We need to just understand what we're dealing with. Okay. Let's look at some terms. As again, I'm talking intro here, but the assignment for this chapter already is completing the check-in questions. Okay, completing the check-in questions. We'll discuss date that it should be complete as well. Completing the check-in question. Hold on one moment. I'm gonna go mute for one. All right, we're back. All right, let's look at definitions. Remember, we are looking at our flashcards. Our terms are going to be very important. Anatomy, physiology, histology. Let's define the difference between the three. Anatomy, the study of the structures of the human body. Okay? Structures of the human body. Physiology, the study of how those structures function. Okay? And the activities performed by the body structures. We really need to know anatomy and physiology. We need to know what we're touching, okay, the structure, and how it works. All right. Um, we talk about excretory system. We're talking about the study of the liver, the excretory system, the kidneys, and we need to know how those kidneys and how the liver works. Okay. Histology, also known as microscopic anatomy, is the study of the structure and composition of tissue. Very, very important, because if we're going to be servicing clients that go through chemotherapy, we need to understand how cells and tissues are created. Okay. When you are, let me ask you a question. Have you ever, did you know that there's a special esthetician? There's a specialist esthetician course for estheticians that want to study about cancer. They want to service cancer clients only. Did you know
No,
that?
no.
Yes. Do you know anyone that may have gone through or currently going through like cancer or chemotherapy?
My aunt had it and it spread throughout her body, but she's dead now.
Okay, okay. There, even as cosmetologists, there's the Look Good, Feel Good program. Um, and there's programs, not particularly in Tennessee, but a lot of the programs you have to go like West Coast. Okay. Oh no, East Coast. Arizona, California, Utah. They have these retreats and they have course programs. Once you're a licensed esthetician, you can go to those course programs for anywhere from 6 months to 12 weeks to 6 months, and those programs certify you, specialize you in servicing cancer clients, so oncology, and pretty much you become on the national directory, and doctors refer to you. um, it's really cool if that's where your heart is, that's where someone's heart is, and that's where they want to study their profession of aesthetics. It's really cool, but of course, it's going to require a lot of coursework, a lot of studying, a lot of terminology. So you have to go through that. But at the same time, you're able to service clients who are dealing with that, and who are used to, lashes, who are used to getting facials and taking care of themselves. You want them to feel amazing. I know a friend of mine was kind of going through, and honestly, let me give you, it's just a testimony. I was in the room where she had to remove her lashes because they were saying that the lash glue, the adhesive was irritating, and going through the chemotherapy at the same time was irritating, causing her eyes to swell and causing other factors. And just the sadness in her face when she had to take her lashes off, I
Like
was there for her.
I
um,
without my lashes.
huh?
I feel
You
like I don't like to go outside without my lashes. Like I don't like it.
okay? You and her are the same. I mean, this girl is always glammed up, right? And then for
Everybody like you out. Everybody like you look the same. No, I don't. I do not look the same.
stop, yeah, stop lying to me. You know I don't look the same.
Mm-mm.
I think when you wear them a lot, you know, really people know you for wearing them, and then when you don't have them on, it's an obvious difference. It's
Well,
it's definitely an obvious difference,
a lot of
but
people say they don't see the difference, but I do. But I'm like, how can you not? Like, what are you talking about?
and really, long as you do, that's what's all that matters.
Right.
So I was telling her it may be something somebody can invent that has like an adhesive that can that is not resistant to that doesn't agitate chemotherapy. While
Right.
you're going through it, because we were going through it. And here's the good part: I went to revival with her over the weekend, and when I saw her, I was just smiling, smiling, smiling. And she was like, "What is going on?" I was like, "You have lashes." And I said, "We could thank God, 'cause, baby, I remember when you didn't have any and you had to take those lashes out. I remember I said she was, but she had lashes on. She's in remission now. But I was just saying, man, if I didn't experience, I would have never thought that we need to build our adhesive. So we need a new adhesive. We may even need a new lash material to go with that doesn't irritate during chemotherapy. So it was a really learning experience, especially with the hair. And I already had training on how to deal with hair loss from that, but never when it came to skin, and never when it came to lashes, and even had an issue with the brow tint. Just not, she's a glammy, so she would tint her brows. If she's in the beauty industry, it would last a long time, typically how it's supposed to last. I mean, it was in her lashes, she was putting them on, it was lasting through the end of the day. And you know how much people charge for lashes, and people were literally put it in their budgets. So you're paying $80 to $100 for a pair of lashes, and they're not lasting. It's not that the person did not do an amazing job. It is what you're got going on in your body that's causing your real lashes to fall out, and of course the extensions to fall out with it. So we just went through a period of just trying to figure it out, just crying and just saying, I'm not going nowhere. That was a major component. But I saw her with her lashes on. I was just hollering. I saw her with hair growing back. I was just like, you know what? This is amazing. So I had to celebrate friend over the weekend. But it was true. And so I do believe that the training, and we want to specialize in those particular areas, the training is needed. And I believe there's a market for it because, women and men deal with a lot of different types of cancer. So if you don't know anybody, or, had it affect you, it's a good thing to have under your belt where you can give references and things of that nature. And especially if someone wants to learn more, even after they have their basic license. Tennessee only has a standard aesthetics license, okay? But it would have took it a decade ago. Many of the states around us had a esthetician aesthetics one license and an aesthetics two license. So it was a general aesthetics license, then you went back for an advanced aesthetics license. So places like California, Arizona, again, Utah, those in those particular areas, those states over there, they had advanced. And really, Arizona. Have you ever traveled to Arizona before?
No, just Vegas.
Okay, Arizona is the mecca of skincare. You would not think it. Scottsdale, or they say Arizona itself, has the most resort spas in the country, in that state. Scottsdale, Arizona, which is on my list, just like it's walking through, just like if it was the Grand Canyon or the Smoky Mountains. Scottsdale, Arizona is on my list to visit because it houses some of the most unique spa retreats. And a lot of times when someone says they're going into a spa, it is 10% of what I've seen in the spa retreat capital. Okay. And so a lot of times of what we see imitated here or birthed here in our area is nowhere near how big it could be. We're just getting a taste of it. Okay. So Scottsdale, Arizona should be on your list of, yeah, I need to do training in that area. So there are always training classes, there's always training retreats, and there are spas. I think there's one spa in Atlanta that's a 24-hour spa. Their spa retreats are like 3, 5, 7 day spa retreats. All day is spa treatment. All day. Okay. And so they have your breakfast, lunch, dinners prepared, your activities prepared, which is normally rest. Okay. And every day in parts throughout the day, you have a different treatment for the body. And so you'll find a lot of individuals that if they vacation or they need to take a couple of days, they would go to a spa retreat where they stay on, hotel included, but it's just spa treatments and just the treatment of their bodies for a set amount of days. And so it is an esthetician's dream to get training in from a spa retreat. Okay. Because also Arizona is one of the states that used to have the advanced licensure. And so the advanced licensure then is what we call, you would have to have that to open up a med spa now. And so, since there's a lot of deregulation questions, a lot of issues with licenses, you really don't have states requiring advanced aesthetics now. Okay. They just have that as basic aesthetics license. And when you go in trying to do med spas, you must have like medical professionals that are partnered with you, such as doctors, nurse practitioners, things of that nature, even a nurse. And for most spas here in Memphis, you got one a piece. And so if you got a lot of nurses and you're looking to go into a med spa, and you got an esthetician license, you're looking to go in a med spa, what my students have had to do, because they were some of the first ones in the industry, just back to back, they had to open up their arm because those positions were so locked in, by other individuals who have been in the industry 10, 15, 20 years or so. And pretty much people just don't give up those positions. They pretty much die out of those positions, you know? It's just like sometimes with teachers, they don't give up those positions. So you're waiting, you may be waiting a really, really long time, or you can build your own. And I'm going to tell you this about African American or ethnic estheticians. We're 7 years old. When we started, it was 2019. And I remember that year, people looking at when my students got complete and they wanted to go into spas, some of them were rejected because they had never seen a population of Black estheticians. And we've taught everybody, okay? But majority has been of Black estheticians. We've taught everybody. When I say everybody, every background. Um, and so you had spas who were not used to dealing with people of color just become intimidated. So it's pretty much a part of history. If you don't find a place to work, and it's really rare if they're only taking one person, especially at day spas, you have to build your own. So I think that helped with the growth of Black-owned spas in the city, Black-owned med spas in and around Memphis. You got from Greenville, Greenwood, Tupelo, Biloxi. I mean, Memphis, we've had students from everywhere, and they went back home and opened up and built these facilities because they didn't have them, they wouldn't let them in, or they didn't have them at all. And so just partnering with medical professionals kind of becomes the T. It literally becomes like the thing that changes you from a traditional esthetician to say, hey, I'm moving over to this side here. I would advise any esthetician to get a nutritionist certification, CPR certification. Those are going to be essential for offering additional services, but not only doing the aesthetic side, like, look, you need to know what's going on with your skin, but also the wellness side. You get to talk to people about weight management, what they're putting into their bodies, potentially causing harm on the other side, and how you can balance the two. And so you start to become a wellness consultant as well. So Anyone that has nutritionists, I also tell them to get a CNA certification. Okay. Get a massage certification because if you want to do body contouring, you're going to need a massage certification. If you're going to do the body contouring, anything related to med spa, you're definitely going to need um, CNA. You got to check when you have people on those machines that melt fat, that freeze fat. You're going to have to be able to check their blood pressure. Some form of advanced aesthetics, you will draw blood from the client and use that blood to actually end the facial. Okay, you ever heard of a vampire facial? You're doing
Oh,
yeah, you're doing micro needles, and so you're putting these punctures into the skin. The blood is coming up to the surface, and then you are spreading that blood. You're reapplying that blood back into the skin, so your blood is so uh, has so much nourishing in it that when it's put back into the skin receives it as food, and now you have a more plump, very firm, beautiful skin. And so you'll have individuals that need to have phlebotomy backgrounds if you want to do, because when you have clients that research so much stuff, they're asked, do you do this? Do you do this? Do you do that? And if you're going into spa components, not just a skincare shop, you will probably be asked, are you willing to get additional certification? Sometimes those spas will invest in you and send you through those programs. Okay. And so sometimes when you get out of school, it's good to just go work for somebody else for about 6 months to a year just to get the game, just to get the training, get your timing together, and then say, hey, I want to do my own thing. That is perfectly fine. Okay. Perfectly fine. We need to get back to that a lot anyway. So anatomy, physiology, histology. Anatomy is the structure, physiology is the function of those structures, and histology is microscopic anatomy. The little things we don't see, cells, tissues, things of that nature. Looking at cells, it is the basic living things. I mean, I've had this definition in science in high school. So a lot of this reverts back to your basic understanding from high school, middle school. Cells, okay, the basic unit of all living things. Anything that's breathing that has a pulse forms from a cell first. Okay, there are facial techniques where you will use, they call it cellular repair. Okay, so what happens? Products that help rebuild and repair the skin, that have like cell rejuvenating when it connects with a cell in a particular area, it starts to populate or it starts to spread, protect, build shields. Um, this does not work on the top layer of skin. This works on multiple layers of skin beneath that your eye cannot see. Okay. And so when I talk about using high frequency one, when I talk about using LED or any type of machine that has a light on it, electrotherapy, I would take the product and just say, there's something called snail cream, like literally snails. There's a cream. Um, it is like the byproduct of the cell of the snail. So like, their feces. People would take the feces of a snail and take it and use it as a skincare regimen, part of your skincare regimen. It makes the skin firm, tightens up, reduces wrinkles. So this will be good for who? Clients who are aging. You have probably seen them put snails, just put it straight on the face. Have you seen that before?
um, no, but to each their own. You know, I don't want nobody to poop on my face.
You would be surprised. Yeah, they take the snail and they'll put it right on the face, especially if there's pimples or anything like that, and the snail pulls all that out. It sucks all
See, that's
that
different. If you're sucking it out, then cool, but don't poop on me.
out. Well, they take it and put it, a syringe and they put it in. But that's how people do it. And, you may mix it with like a white brand, like moisturizer, and it
Mm.
becomes like a barrier cream. It literally helps reduce wrinkles like tightness.
Yeah.
Um, I am so excited that it's the beginning for you because you're going to be like, what? I can do that? Yeah.
Yeah,
um,
'cause
have you
I'm
ever,
very hands-on. I like touching. Like my friend, she called me a creep.
yeah,
Her
no, no,
everybody call me a creep because they like you always touching on somebody. Stop.
Tell them this is my job. This is my
Yeah,
career.
I
This is
like to touch. I like to touch, and I'll rub you down. I ain't even trying to be funny. I'll rub you down. Just
no,
hugging you, I just rub you down. And they're like, girl, you a creep. You need to go do something. I'm like, okay, well, I go do something then. I go do something so that I'm in school.
yes, yes. And here's the thing: when you're rubbing, or like touching, all right, your memory is understanding something feels, how something feels, or it's identifying issues that's going on with the skin. You're literally my twin. I think we're both creeps. Okay, whatever they want to say.
A creep, and I don't mind. I'm a good kind. I'm a
Yeah,
good kind of.
we the
I'm not.
good kind. All is well because literally, I want to touch it because I'm like, I want to see what that feels like, so it can register in my brain what this person needs in their skin. So
Yeah.
don't worry, they'll be knocking your door down. What you think of
Right.
this?
When she had lupus, and I was I was trying to do the massages because I wanted to do, the massages on her face, the lymphatic massages on her face and things. And she was like, "Girl, I'm not gonna let you touch me." Yes, you is. Yeah, don't worry about it. Yes, yeah, you coming.
It's good. Don't worry about it. It's coming.
Don't worry about it. You coming.
It's coming. All is well. Okay, so when we look at the cell, of course, there's what we call like protoplasma, just the components of the cell and what is wrapped around. It's a colorless jelly like substance, which mostly you're going to think of as clear, in which nutrients such as proteins, fats, and carbs, and minerals, and water are present. So, anything we're talking about rebuilding cells, and a lot of times they use like cellular transfer. They're talking about improving the person's skin. If someone has wrinkles, if someone has sagging skin, deep wrinkles, dry skin, you will naturally refer them to cellular repair products. When products that say rejuvenating, rapid cell repair, you'll see those type of terms. Those are products that yes, we want them because it's going to improve the way the skin looks on the outside first. It has protein, it has everything your skin needs to feed itself. So I would apply these creams, then I would apply like, put it on like a mask, and then I would put like the LED light on top of it. And I'm gonna show you what the LED light is. It's gonna be black for a minute. Hold on. All right. So if we're wanting any cream to go deeper into our skin, especially like cell repair and okay, especially like cell repair or anything in reference to wanting this to work underneath the skin first and then it's going to show on the outside, I'm going to go straight to LED because the LED has different lights that penetrate into deeper parts of the skin. And this is the first thing I want you to understand. Individuals So I was trying to find the lights. All right, so this is all of these are like red light. All right, red light tightens the skin and makes the skin stronger. So for anyone that has like wrinkles or sagging skin, I'm gonna put them on red light. And literally the product is going to be pushed. The light pushes the product into the skin and then it starts to tighten the skin. So this service becomes one of those upgrades, and it's not a cheap service because your appliances that you use are not cheap. But based on what a person has going on with their skin, I would use a mask and a form of electrotherapy, and most likely it would be LED. So they have it in the mask, or you can just have it in the lamp. And the mask show different grades. Um, and a lot of these that you say cost $500-600, like this one here, maybe priced at $100 or more. You know eBay, you know Alibaba, okay? A lot of them are private label, and then they go and put labels on them. So I tell an individual to really research hard. Um, Finding great deals would be I would have to go to like a trade show that was this weekend and find the companies and negotiate great deals from the companies. If not, just have the ladies buy bundles from overseas and they buy lashes from overseas. I would also buy my equipment like that. Okay, I would, because the equipment is the same equipment. It just does not have a brand name on it. So, but if you particularly want brand name, go to those companies and you'll see that they uh, just slap the name on. Okay, and China is one of the biggest producers of beauty equipment. And so everybody's pretty much just like they go over there for purses, they go over there, they also go over there for skincare equipment and bring it back. Okay, from body contour machines to steamers to everything. All right. So I was trying to do. And so I just want to leave you with this as we get ready to move on. I think my Cosmo people are getting ready to come in. But here we go. When we talk about putting like that product on the skin, to say the snail cream to rejuvenate the skin, if you put it on red light boosts collagen, reduces fine lines, improves skin texture. All right. And so red light is going to be great for those aging clients or individuals that need to tighten skin. Blue light kills bacteria. So anyone that has pimples or anything like that, we would go for blue light. Green light is going to balance skin tones. So individuals that have hyperpigmentation or dark spots, light spots, or just don't have an even skin tone, I would use like vitamin C products and green light. Yellow light, vitamin C products, it helps brighten. Purple light, it's a combination of red and blues for acne and anti-aging. This turquoise cyan light soothes irritation, so individuals that are very sensitive. And white light just helps penetrate deeper, overall rejuvenation of the skin. Um, I want you to look at the numbers where it says 620 to 630. Red light is generally used because it goes deeper into the skin. So red light is even beneficial for individuals who are trying to penetrate product deep down into the layers of skin. You're trying to stimulate hair growth. So I would put whatever product that you're going to use, or just make sure the scalp is clean. Maybe put an oil or something on the scalp, and then I will put this red light on top of it. This red light on top of that follicle is going to push that oil to the deepest of the deep. And most likely, when we're talking about stimulating hair growth, or it's going to go deep, that pushes that oil to where it needs to go. Because if not, it's only going to stay surface level and may go down maybe one level. So you don't really see a change in a person's skin or hair at that point. So at the end of the day, the LED is going to be important to the esthetician. So that's something that we're going to build upon. Hey, Mackenzie. Mackenzie's is the roll call. All right. So that's the intro today for our Cosmo. We're going to pick up a little bit more, talk about some systems tomorrow. So I will see you bright and early in the morning, 9 a.m., okay?
All right. See you.
Okay.